Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Amir from What the F Are the Principles. And I just noticed that all my videos, I'm in my office and I'm wearing a V-neck. So I decided to change it today. I'm still wearing a V-neck. This is, my group should be called What the F is this guy wearing a V-neck for all the time? But I decided I'm going to keep this. This is my go-to. And today I'm in my backyard. That's where I'm decided to do it. It's a little bit different. But here's something really interesting. Let's get to it. I went to see Michael Neal this weekend, and it was absolutely incredible. He was here in San Diego. He was at the KPBS studios filming a 2-day event. It was absolutely wonderful. I heard a lot of the metaphors before, but you know, the way that Michael does it, he is so good and so from the heart, and comes from compassion that you can hear the same stories over and over again from Michael Neal, and it still sounds fresh. But after a couple of days, a lot of people noticed who I was, and they knew that I was a coach. I work at a recovery center, and one of the questions that constantly came up in different groups and people that came up to me is, you know, as soon as I've discovered the principles, one of the biggest issues I'm having is there's not much to do now. Like a lot of people came from an NLP background, and one of the things they said is, as soon as you get how the system works, that you have in the moment wisdom, what the hell do you do with your clients now though? Like what is there to talk about? How do you start a conversation? How do you fix a situation? What if they come in with a business problem or a relationship problem? I mean, do you just tell them it's their thought and there's nothing else to do? Or how do you even start the conversation? And these are really, really good questions. And the truth of the matter is that was something that I was struggling with for a very, very long time, which was, as soon as I got the insight that life's a lot easier than it looks, and we're going to have different feelings moment to moment, and that's what our thinking system, shows us. What do we do now? What do we do with our clients? And it's an interesting question. When someone came up to me at the event and said, "So how do you coach now?" And to be honest with you, I didn't understand the question. And I went, "Well, what do you mean? How do I coach now?" I have conversations, and then I build them. Right? I have conversations, and things happen, and they get an insight, and they go, "Hey, can we do more of this?" They said, "Yeah, but how do you start the conversation? If you don't have any techniques, how do you teach about leadership, or how do you teach about not getting in the way of yourself? How do you do that?" And the analogy that showed up for me, okay, and this is what I responded with a couple of the people there. I said, well, imagine that all of a sudden, for years, you thought having a best friend took a lot of work. Like you had to go to like seminars on how to maintain friendships. You had to, read books on 3 steps of how to have a best friend and how to have that feeling show up, and 6 strategies of making the friendship feel even more of a friendship, and things like that. And one day you discovered that friendship is what occurs in the moment, and the less thinking you have about a friendship, the more in the moment with a friend is what creates the bond, what creates a friendship. Like some of my really close friends, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about with them. It just shows up in the moment. Just the other weekend, we had 4th of July. The only thing I really knew about that 4th of July is that we're going to have a barbecue. That was the extent. The rest of it, I knew that whatever shows up, whether that's we're going to grab a drink, whether I'm going to do a fart joke or whatever, it was going to happen in the moment. Now, it wouldn't have made sense for me to say, okay, my friend's coming at 2 o'clock. I better have 3 jokes by the time he shows up. I better give him a hug as soon as he shows up, because that would be very weird. Because with friendship, there's not much to do. The moment gives us what needs to happen. That's why we have friends. That's why friendship is so easy. That's the same as music. We don't go into putting our headphones on and being like, okay, how should I listen to this music right now? I really like this group. Should I really pay attention? Or should I, should I dance before I listen? You don't do that. The moment gives you the feeling of what's going to happen, what's going to arise. And so when one of the gentlemen asked me, well, how do you get to a coaching conversation now? It's kind of like asking, what do you do when your friend shows up at your doorstep? And I don't have an answer for that. Because the truth of the matter is, the moment shows me what to do next. Like, I'm really comfortable being in the unknown with my friends because that's where the magic happens. And I remember the one time I did plan my friendship. I was going to vacation, and it was for me, and it was my birthday, and I wanted everything to go well. So what did I do? I set everything up from what we're going to do in the morning. We're in Cabo. What we're going to do for the morning, which we're going to do motorcycle rides, where we're going to go for lunch, and where we're going to go for dinner, and what activities we're going to do in between. Well, with 10 people there, I'll tell you, half the people didn't wake up on time to go to the motorcycle rides. The other half were too drunk to go to dinner, and I was furious. This was my first day, and I literally got my friends together, and I said, you guys are screwing up my vacation. And thank goodness these are my friends. They looked at me and laughed and said, Amir, what are you doing? Let's just have fun. Did you forget that you're with your closest friends? How about you shut up and have fun? And it just dawned on me that I was trying to force my friendships in that moment. Like, I was trying to plan how to have fun with them. And guess what? That first day, it really went to shit. And it just kind of gently reminded me, you're with your closest friends. What's going to happen? What's going to arise? That is the plan. That is what's going to happen. And so, in the same way, there's not much to do with friendships. There isn't. You just show up, and whatever joke arises, what arises, if it happens to be serious, you're going to cry if you have to. Whatever arises, that is the essence of friendship. And the same thing with coaching. See, we put a label on coaching. We say, but what about in coaching? But the truth of the matter is there's no such thing as coaching. The only thing that arises is two people are going to get on a phone call. Two people are going to meet somewhere and discuss life. That's what it's about. And as soon as we call it coaching, then we think it's a thing to do. Then we think we need to come up with some brilliant plan on how to achieve something, how to get the future situated. But we're not there yet. How are we supposed to get the future situated when we're not comfortable in the moment, in the unknown, which is right here, right now, right in this moment? We're 10 steps ahead. We can't even be 2 steps ahead when we don't even know what the phone call is going to arise in right in this moment. So I'll tell you what happened to me. In response to the guy, well, I said, I don't really know what's going to happen, but damn, doesn't it feel good not to know? And doesn't it feel good that the moment that we get on a phone call, the best that we both will have is to connect to humanity? I can handle that. Like, I don't have much to do. And that, after being 10 years in NLP, was scary as shit. Like, if I didn't have a technique, then what am I gonna rest on? But it never occurred to me that the unknown is enough. Not having anything planned, that's the best thing that I've got now. And for a while, for the people that are listening, that's a bit scary. And I get it. I've been there, and I'm still there at times. But the more you get comfortable with the unknown, the more you get used to being in the moment with your clients, the more you're going to be comfortable in that space. And the more you get comfortable in that space, the less it makes sense to ask that question. It just won't make sense to ask, what should I do on the call? Just like it doesn't make sense when you go to, a restaurant and 3 days in advance to ask, what should I eat next week from now? Because as soon as you get there, you'll know what to eat. There's a menu, you'll figure it out. And the truth of the matter is, even if you order the wrong thing, you can still order again. It's not a big deal. We don't do that with a lot of things. We don't do that with what's going to be on the menu, what we're going to listen to with music, what we're going to do with our friendships. But we think we need to do it with something called coaching because we just think that's a little bit more important. And here's the good news. The less you do that with your clients, the closer you get them to the unknown. The closer you get them to be comfortable in the space between our thinking. And the more they'll start to see the magic that arises in that space. That's where everything happens. And we get so afraid of getting there. Think about, as a principles coach, what your goal is. You want them to appreciate the space between thoughts, but yet you want to get into the conversation in a lot of thinking. Think about how much sense that makes. Now, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do next? You know what? I'm going to teach them the principles. And while I'm going to teach them the principles, I'm going to get in my head about it. How are they supposed to buy the brilliance of that space between thoughts when you truly haven't bought into it yourself? Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't get into your head, so find a strategy to get out of your head. What I'm saying is, even in your being in your head, that could be an in the moment conversation with your client. Hey, by the way, client A, I just want to tell you I'm in a lot of thinking right now. But you know what? My thinking is going to be irrelevant to what space we can create. In other words, if there's the music playing in the background, like right now I can hear the pump of my pool, it doesn't stop me from having this conversation with you. So, excuse me, today we're going to have a sound called pool pump, but we're still going to have a brilliant conversation. And as we continue to talk, the pump behind me, it's going to be less and less noisy, and I'm going to be getting back into humanity. Now think about what I just did. I got us in real time. I got me and the person in front of me, and whoever's in front of me right now, you got to be in real time with me. And what that's going to do is that's going to settle their noise in the background. So the goal isn't to get out of your head. The goal is to bring all of it into the conversation in real time if needed. Because what happens is you dip into humanity. The less you try to get into the future of what you think the conversation should, the more you're going to be in the conversation that will arise. Because as a human, things show up. The nature of thought is it happens in real time. And you and I have that gift. So let's play in that space. Let's play in the unknown for a little bit. Let's get our clients comfortable in that space. And let's see what shows up. And if you're still here listening till the end, I just realized that within a couple weeks, without much thinking, we have about 60 people in this group. And every one of you guys have been handpicked to be in this group. So thank you so much to being in this group, and for the people that have participated. But I've made a goal for myself that if I get to 100, okay, I'm in no rush, but if I get there, I had my 5th book planned, which is metaphors about coaching, metaphors about just things in life that I really, really enjoy. And I have not published it, and I didn't know if I was going to publish it or not. It's 80% done, but as soon as I hit 100 people in this group, I'm going to give it to everybody. It's not been edited. It's not been really looked at, but it's as raw as it gets. But it's about, I don't know, a bunch of metaphors about life, about coaching, things to do with the principles that wake people up to see something differently, points them to another direction. You know, it's allegorical, it's metaphorical, and it's going to come to this group, and I'm really, really excited to share with you guys, and it's gonna come to you guys. So just keep in touch. If you guys are all the way here to the end, then you'll know that you guys are getting a book. And if you stopped the video halfway, how dare you? You better watch the end or ask someone what I was talking about. And seriously, if you guys find this valuable, please leave a comment below. Eric, I see that you're already commenting. Thank you so much. If this stuff makes sense to you, let me know. I'd love to elaborate. You know, I'm trying to make this as real time as it gets, as in the trenches as it gets. And I'm telling you, this is strictly for you guys. If this is really valuable, please let me know. That's the best way to continue this. I love all you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.